The headlines: road crashes in Barbados said to cost more than $130 million a year. Farmer wants government to scrap plans for a farming school at a St. Lucie site. And West Indies men and women are entered the World T20 finals. Welcome to Nation News for Thursday, March the 31st, 2016. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, road traffic injuries cause considerable economic losses to victims, their families, and to countries as a whole. In Barbados, the cost of road crashes has been estimated to be more than $130 million a year. That's a hefty bill, including the cost of treatment and deaths and loss of productivity. The figure was mentioned on Wednesday when a Safer Roads program was launched by the Ministry of Transport and Works. 500 kilometers of roads will be assessed and made safer in an effort to reduce the number of serious accidents. Julia Urzua, one of the executives involved in the program, said accidents can have wide-ranging impacts on families.
Road crashes cause an enormous grief to victims, their families and friends. They are also often a factor responsible for tipping a household into financial distress. The loss of a wage earner due to death or disability can be disastrous, leading a family into lower living standards and poverty. Globally, road crashes cost up to 3% of the gross domestic product. Here in Barbados, IRAP estimates that the cost of crashes exceeds 138 million Barbados dollars a year.
3 women and a 17-year-old girl, all Canadians, have appeared in court charged with the trafficking of nearly 150 pounds of cannabis into Barbados. Paige Amber Clark, Emma Jacqueline Young, Natalie Linton and Charlotte Blackman arrived on the same flight from Canada on Tuesday. Police said the drugs were found hidden in boxes during searches of their luggage by customs officers. They appeared in the District B Magistrates Court charged with possession of cannabis, possession with intent to supply, trafficking, and importation. The 17-year-old Emma Young was fined $80,000 forthwith for trafficking. If she does not pay, she will spend 2 years in prison. The other 3 were remanded to Dodds until April the 7th. A St. Lucie dairy farmer wants plans for an agricultural school at the Hope in St. Lucie to be abandoned. The land earmarked for the school is used by MacDonald Stevenson to harvest grass to make hay, and he says taking it out of grass production could spell doom for him and other farmers. He told a news conference he is hoping that other farmers will join him in petitioning the Ministry of Education to rethink the training proposal. Mr. Stevenson said he has been harvesting grass from the land for at least 15 years and was unsuccessful in his attempt to lease it. He said if the land was formally under his control, he would fertilize it and get the production up. A delegation of people with disabilities was all smiles after presenting a petition for legal recognition of disabled parking spots to Prime Minister Frundle Stewart. The petitioners want it to be made illegal under the Road Traffic Act for non-disabled people to park in spaces designated for people with disabilities. The president of the Barbados Council for the Disabled, Maria Holder Small, was beaming after she delivered over 12,000 signatures to Mr. Stewart at government headquarters. Before heading there, the group met at a car park at Browns Beach, where Mrs. Holder Small highlighted the community's concerns.
Having worked with the Ministry of Transport and Works for a number of years, it is our understanding that the draft amendments have been finalized for over 2 years now and seems to have taken up a cozy spot on a desk or in a drawer of the Chief Parliamentary Counsel's office. This is unacceptable. We are human beings with the same needs as everyone else. Why should we have to suffer for simply wanting to park in a space assigned for persons with disabilities?
Messages against domestic violence must be targeted at young people, the acting police chief has said. Livingston Eversley, who is currently performing the duties of Commissioner of Police, said it is cause for concern that officers are seeing cases involving young people. He was speaking at the closing ceremony of a domestic violence workshop for media workers, church groups, and councillors organized by the police force and the U.S. Embassy. Also speaking was Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite, who urged participants to use their new skills to intervene when they suspect domestic violence.
The reality is, though, is that yes, there are some cases that we're going to have to refer to the Royal Barbados Police force. But I'm sure that there are cases where, your brother at work, your sister at work, your sister in the church, your brother in the newsroom, your brother at the Bureau of Gender Affairs, and wherever you work, and in fact, that you may be able, just by a quiet word, you never know how much of a difference. Just saying hello and having a conversation, if you see, because you work with someone continuously, and you kind of have a sense of when there's something not right, when there's something going wrong in that individual's life. And there's meddling and there's maliciousness, but it's also caring, and you need to make the distinction. I'm sure that the various courts, that you are more confident in terms of making the distinction.
Young interior design graduates have staged an exhibition of their work, though not without difficulty, they said, after failing to get business sponsorship. The 7 former community college students mounted wall displays showing the layout and products that could be used as home furnishings. Spokesperson Peter Lee Blackman said the exhibition showcased what they had accomplished during the one-year program.
The course is quite intense. What I think the general consensus of the class is that it's a lot of work for the 1 year. And unfortunately, this is where it stops in Barbados. So we don't have any avenue right now to expand or explore further this type of course. And it's pretty expensive to go overseas and study it to further it. But it was very interesting, and we all learned a lot. And this is why we wanted to put on the exhibition, so that we can showcase the work to architects, not only to architects, but to also other interior designers, also other places that there are people that are capable here who can assist them. So the main idea of putting on the exhibition is to show our talent, what we would work so hard to put forward.
In sport, crisis? What crisis? That was the reaction around the world after West Indies men and women won through to the finals of the World 2020 tournament. Following the victory of the under-19 team at their World Cup, some scribes have started to wonder whether the reports of the death of West Indies cricket have been exaggerated. For once, let's start with the women, who are into their first global final after a 6-run victory over New Zealand. Captain Stephanie Taylor praised the team's performance in defending 143 and was asked about the fielding, particularly an important run-out by the Barbadian livewire Deandra Dottin.
Anytime Dottin gets a run-out, it's something, spectacular. She's so vibrant in the field, and whenever she gets a run-out, it's it brings the whole flame back, and I think that was the run-out actually changed the game and had us back in it really.
Stephanie, it's been a jinx getting to the semi-finals all the time and not getting to the final. Now you're actually in a final. How do you favour playing against the Australians?
Well, we play the Australians all the time, most of the time in semi-finals, and now we're playing them in the finals. I think that they're a good team. They're a really, good and tough team. But I think that if we're consistent, play like how we play today, I think we definitely fancy our chance, and bowl well against them. We definitely fancy our chance, lifting that cup.
To the men now, Lendl Simmons was a star. Almost fresh off the plane from the Caribbean, he hit an unbeaten 83, surviving 2 catches off no balls and guiding the West Indies to a 7-wicket victory against hosts India. West Indies chased down India's score of 192 for 2 with 2 balls to spare. Both finals are on Sunday at Eden Gardens in Kolkata, with West Indies women facing Australia and the men England. And finally, there was, unsurprisingly, no shortage of doctors to treat the injured during a punch-up between medics at a staff meeting in an Argentinian hospital. The fight happened after doctors and junior medics reportedly came to blows over the best way to handle pay negotiations. People were shocked by the violence among the 150 medical staff at the meeting, which took place at San Martin Hospital in the city of La Plata. According to reports, a total of 20 injured doctors were treated by their colleagues for cuts and bruises after the brawl. And that's Nation News for Thursday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And remember to pick up your Weekend Nation on Friday or subscribe to our e-paper.